The Sigma female is different from everyone around her. She lives by her own principles, not by society's expectations or social rules. While most people are driven by approval, recognition, or belonging, the Sigma female follows an internal code that only she understands. Her life may look mysterious to others, but behind that mystery is structure. A set of hidden rules that guide how she thinks, acts, and connects with the world. These rules are not written anywhere. She doesn't announce them or explain them. They exist quietly, shaping every decision she makes. They are what give her balance in chaos, direction in uncertainty, and peace in a world that demands conformity. People often mistake her independence for detachment, but it's not about isolation. It's about living by truth, not by pressure. The Sigma female doesn't rebel for attention. She simply refuses to live in ways that go against her values. That's why people often find her intriguing, even intimidating. She's calm when others panic. She's clear when others follow trends. She listens more than she talks, observes more than she reacts, and decides on her own terms. Understanding these hidden rules gives insight into her strength, why she seems so centered, why she can walk away when others can't, and why her peace feels unshakable. These are not rules she forces on others, they are standards she holds for herself. And they're what make her different from every other personality type. Let's explore the first rule, the one that forms the foundation for every other part of her life. Rule number 1. She values her inner compass over external approval. The Sigma female has an unshakable sense of direction that comes from within. While others seek advice, validation, or social proof before making decisions, she looks inward. She listens to her instincts. Her choices are guided by her moral compass, her logic, and her intuition, not by what's popular or expected. From a young age, she learned that following the crowd rarely leads to happiness. She's seen people sacrifice peace for approval, chase trends to feel relevant, and compromise their values for acceptance. To her, that kind of life feels empty. So, she built her own rule. Trust your own judgment above all else. This doesn't mean she's stubborn or closed to advice. She listens carefully, but she doesn't depend on others to confirm her path. Once she's made a decision, she stands by it, even if no one else understands. Her confidence isn't loud, it's steady. She doesn't need applause to feel secure. She trusts herself because she knows her intentions are clear. This rule makes her both powerful and misunderstood. People who depend on external validation see her as detached or proud. They mistake her independence for arrogance. But she doesn't ignore others. She simply refuses to let the world steer her away from her truth. The Sigma female's inner compass protects her from manipulation. She's not easily swayed by guilt, pressure, or social expectation. She knows when something doesn't feel right, and she walks away, even if it means standing alone. That level of conviction makes others uncomfortable, because it exposes how easily they bend under pressure. Living by this rule gives her freedom, but it also isolates her. She knows not everyone will understand her decisions, and that's fine. She would rather disappoint others than betray herself. Her sense of direction doesn't come from maps, it comes from alignment. And when she follows that inner compass, she never loses her way. Rule number 2. She chooses depth over approval, quality over quantity. The Sigma female doesn't crave popularity. She doesn't need hundreds of friends or endless attention to feel valued. She focuses on depth, real conversations, honest connections, meaningful experiences. She'd rather have a few genuine people in her circle than a crowd that doesn't truly know her. This rule defines how she interacts with the world. In friendships, she looks for trust. Trust, not convenience. In relationships, she looks for understanding, not just attraction. In her career, she prefers purpose over prestige. To her, depth brings fulfillment, while surface-level approval feels hollow. This approach confuses people who equate social success with large networks or constant attention. They can't understand how she can be content without chasing visibility. But she's not driven by being liked. She's driven by being real. She doesn't need to be seen by everyone, only understood by the few who truly get her. Her selectiveness is not arrogance, it's efficiency. She knows that her time and emotional energy are limited. She'd rather invest them in people and projects that matter. This makes her seem reserved, but in reality, it's focus. She doesn't entertain gossip, small talk, or competition. She values authenticity above performance. The Sigma female finds peace in simplicity. She's not interested in superficial approval or quick validation. That's why she stands out. She moves slower, thinks deeper, and connects stronger. While others seek noise to feel alive, she finds meaning in quiet moments. This rule also shapes how she handles rejection. When people don't like her, she doesn't chase them. When she loses friends, she doesn't panic. She knows that not everyone can handle her honesty or independence. For her, losing the wrong people is never a loss. It's alignment. Choosing depth over approval makes her world smaller, but more genuine. Every person, every choice, every emotion carries weight. She doesn't collect people or experiences, she curates them. And that's what keeps her grounded in a world built on illusion. Rule number 3. She keeps her peace sacred. She protects her time, energy, and space. The Sigma female doesn't waste energy on things that drain her. She has learned, often through experience, that peace is the most valuable possession she has. Once she loses it, everything else begins to fall apart. Her focus, her creativity, her clarity. So she guards it with intention. To her, peace is not just silence, it's balance. It's being surrounded by honesty, calm, and respect. It's knowing that her environment supports her well-being instead of disturbing it. That's why she's selective about where she goes, what she says yes to, and who she allows near her. Every decision filters through one question. Does this protect my peace or destroy it? This rule shapes how she lives daily. She limits contact with people who bring unnecessary drama. She avoids arguments that go nowhere. She steps back from energy that feels tense or fake. When she senses toxicity, she withdraws quietly. She doesn't try to fix people anymore. She simply refuses to be affected by them. People who don't understand this think she's distant or cold. But what they don't see is that her peace was earned through chaos she had to overcome. She knows what it feels like to be drained, controlled, or manipulated, and she refuses to go back. Protecting her peace also means setting boundaries. She says no without guilt. She doesn't explain her decisions to those who can't respect them. She chooses solitude over noise, self-care over obligation. And while this may make her seem detached, it's actually how she stays strong. This rule is not about shutting people out. It's about letting the right people in. The Sigma female knows that peace isn't found by escaping life, but by creating a space where truth and stability can grow. She's not protecting her peace out of fear. She's protecting it out of wisdom. Once someone disrupts that peace too many times, she doesn't argue. She disappears. Her calmness is her boundary. Her silence is her signal. And her peace remains intact because she treats it like the foundation of her life, not a luxury she can afford to lose. Rule number 4. She embraces solitude as a strategy, not a sign of weakness. The Sigma female's relationship with solitude is one of her defining traits. While most people see being alone as something negative, a sign of loneliness or rejection, she views it as essential. Her solitude is not an accident, it's a choice, a strategy, and a source of power. She uses time alone to recharge, reflect, and think clearly. When she's away from constant noise, she becomes sharper, calmer, and more creative. Solitude allows her to reconnect with herself without the influence of others. It's where she makes decisions, heals emotionally, and plans her next move. This rule often confuses people who equate constant socializing with happiness. They don't understand how she can be content in silence. But for the Sigma female, solitude is where she finds balance. She doesn't need crowds to feel complete, and she doesn't fear her own company. She enjoys it. Her independence makes her comfortable with stillness. She doesn't fill empty moments with distractions or meaningless connections. Instead, she uses them to reflect, read, create, or simply breathe. This self-sufficiency can make others uncomfortable because it highlights how dependent they are on attention or noise. The Sigma female knows that solitude is not the absence of people, it's the presence of peace. It's the environment where she grows strongest. Many of her insights and decisions come from quiet hours when the world is asleep. That's when she listens to her intuition and gains the clarity others miss. Because she doesn't fear being alone, she's free from emotional dependency. She doesn't stay in toxic relationships just to avoid solitude. She doesn't chase attention to fill emptiness. Her solitude keeps her grounded. And though some call it isolation, she knows it's preparation. When she steps back, it's never out of weakness. It's out of strength, the kind that allows her to return more focused, confident, and unstoppable. To the Sigma female, solitude is not a retreat, it's her recharge. Rule number 5. She lives by unspoken standards: honesty, integrity, consistency. The Sigma female doesn't talk much about her standards. She lives them. She doesn't announce her values or demand others meet them. She simply embodies them every day. Honesty, integrity, and consistency are non-negotiable for her. They are the quiet principles that guide how she speaks, works, and treats people. She believes that character shows in small moments, in how someone acts when no one is watching, in how they handle promises, in how they treat people who can't benefit them. Her life runs on these silent rules. They shape her reputation and attract people who share her mindset. But these standards also separate her from others. Many people talk about values but don't live them. They shift depending on convenience, emotion, or pressure. The Sigma female doesn't. If she says something, she means it. If she commits to something, she follows through. Her consistency is her signature. This often makes others uncomfortable because it exposes their own inconsistency. When people lie, exaggerate, or manipulate, her honesty feels confronting. When people are careless, her discipline reminds them of what they lack. She doesn't judge them openly, but her presence challenges them to rise higher. And not everyone wants to. These standards also define her relationships. She won't stay around dishonesty, half-effort, or betrayal. Once someone breaks trust, she doesn't give endless chances. She doesn't need to argue or prove a point. She simply detaches. Not out of pride, but because her integrity won't allow her to remain in places that violate her principles. Her unspoken rules make her reliable, but also rare. People can count on her because she means what she says. Yet that reliability also isolates her because she expects the same in return. She knows very few will match her consistency, and she's at peace with that. To the Sigma female, integrity is freedom. It allows her to move through life without guilt, without pretending, without double lives. Her actions align with her words, and that's a kind of power that doesn't need an audience. Rule number 6. She moves quietly, but with intention. Authenticity over visibility. The Sigma female doesn't need to announce her every move. She works in silence, plans in private, and acts with purpose. While others feel the need to prove themselves through attention or display, she finds power in discretion. She doesn't crave recognition because she knows who she is without it. Her success doesn't depend on noise, it depends on direction. This is one of her most misunderstood rules. People often assume that those who stay quiet lack ambition or confidence. But that's not the case with her. The Sigma female's silence doesn't come from fear, it comes from focus. She's not distracted by approval, trends, or competition. Her only concern is alignment, whether her actions match her purpose. She moves through life like water, calm, consistent, and unstoppable. You won't see her broadcasting every goal or showing off every achievement. She prefers progress over publicity. To her, visibility is often a trap. The more people see, the more they expect. An expectation can easily turn into pressure. That's why she keeps certain things private. This rule also applies to her emotional life. She doesn't reveal everything she feels. She believes that not every truth deserves an audience. Her vulnerability is earned, not given freely. She protects her emotional world the same way she protects her peace, carefully. Her quiet nature sometimes frustrates people who want constant updates or explanations. They misinterpret her silence as secrecy or pride. But for the Sigma female, privacy is strength. It's how she keeps control of her own story. By the time others notice her progress, she's already 10 steps ahead. Authenticity is her true measure of success. She doesn't care if the world approves as long as her life reflects who she really is. She's not interested in attention for attention's sake. Every move she makes serves a purpose, even if no one understands it at first. The Sigma female's quiet confidence challenges the modern obsession with validation. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, she's content being understood by a few, or even by no one at all. She doesn't need to be loud to make an impact. Her actions speak louder than any words could. And that's why people remember her long after she's gone. The Sigma female lives by rules that few people understand, but those who do see the depth of her strength. These hidden principles, self-trust, peace, solitude, integrity, purpose, and authenticity, form the foundation of everything she does. They aren't just habits, they're her code. They guide her through every decision, every challenge, and every connection. She doesn't follow trends or bend to pressure. She doesn't measure success by likes, followers, or approval. Her life is built on internal alignment, the quiet sense of knowing she's doing what's right, even if no one else agrees. This makes her powerful, but it also sets her apart. People often misunderstand her because she refuses to explain herself. They mistake her independence for pride, her solitude for coldness, and her silence for disinterest. But the truth is simple: she's focused. She's aware. And she's living intentionally. The Sigma female understands something most people don't. Freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about having the discipline to live by your own truth, no matter how different it looks from everyone else's. She doesn't rebel for attention, she simply refuses to betray herself. Her rules aren't about control, they're about clarity. They help her navigate life without losing her balance in a world full of noise and distraction. Each rule keeps her grounded, purposeful, and true to her values. To outsiders, these hidden rules may seem strange, even extreme. But to the Sigma female, they are the reason she remains calm when others panic, steady when others chase, and centered when the world feels chaotic. She doesn't need to be understood. She just needs to be real. And that's exactly what these rules allow her to be, unapologetically herself every single day.